We put people before profiteers and polluters. We believe that change comes from the ground up, not the top down. We fight for justice and small d democracy on critical issues, including the hog barons Austin talks about in his book. The thing about Austin's book is that he is painting a portrait of the consequences of corporate consolidation, but also the way forward to choose a fair, healthy, and prosperous food industry. If we take back power from the barons who have robbed us of it. Austin is a powerful voice, fearless truth teller, and believes like we do that people power is the way forward. Please join me this evening in welcoming our friend and author, Austin Farrell.
A hog farmer is the most politically powerful person in the state. And so that's what got me going on this. There's a bigger story here. There were a lot of corners cut. They took that sharecropping model production that was exploitive to black farmers and they applied it to chicken. So if you're a chicken farmer, your bird and feed is given to you. You don't own the animal. You babysit it. You take on a ton of debt from the company to build this facility, and then you sell it back to the company. And they wait and you can't see it. And it's incredibly exploitive. The stat's old, but it's like 70% of chicken farmers live in poverty. They call it chickenization. So that has happened to hogs. It first actually started in North Carolina on the eastern shore. They built these massive hog facilities, and they built them in the poor black areas. To me, this is the best example of environmental racism. Is because the water table in North Carolina, in Iowa, we inject the hog manure into the ground, and there they spray it. And so these historically poor black churches in North Carolina, they have to repaint their steeples every few years because they turn brown. So this was going on. But at the same time, people in Des Moines were noticing it. They noticed North Carolina was getting all this market share in pork. And we didn't want to lose our number one status. So the Des Moines Business Elite commissioned a study, and part of it was, let's put the family farm out to pasture. We will engage in this race to the bottom. And so corners were cut, and Jeff Hansen, my hog baron, was building these hog facilities. He got access to Wall Street money, and he was able to essentially run amok. Build this massive thing. You saw this real rebellion in Iowa against these because they destroy your home quality, your housing value. I focus a lot in my book actually on Tom Vilsack. The 2002 governor's race in Iowa was centered on these confinements. And the way Iowa works, as some of you might know, only the governor can stop the construction of these confinements. Well, after Vilsack won, he oversaw the largest expansion of confinements in Iowa history. People like Vilsack are really scary because they say they help have your back and they undermine you. I tell this story of how, the water quality crisis we have in Iowa, the cancer crisis we have that's growing in awareness, is rooted in the greed of this one man. My next baron is Cargill. They're my grain baron. My grain baron is really about the Farm Bill. What happened to the Farm Bill? And what I realized is the Farm Bill is designed for Wall Street. It is designed to overproduce grains to make chips and pop as cheap as possible at the expense of everything else. My next baron is my coffee baron, the secret German family called J.A. Your goal is to come into a market and establish a market monopoly. So they entered America in 2012. They bought a company called Peet's, and then they bought a bunch of other coffee companies, Pret a Manger, Krispy Kreme, those little Keurig cups, Stumptown, Panera Bread, Insomnia Cookie. There's like 20 of them. They now sell more coffee than Starbucks because the whole goal is to have buying power to shortchange coffee farmers and also workers that work in these places. So the next baron in my book is, I gotta remember my barons. Berry? Yeah, berries, Driscoll's. Those Driscoll's berries, they sell 1 in 3 berries. They don't grow a single berry. They took that chicken model and applied it to berry production. And I also use that chapter to tell the bigger story of how anything that's labor intensive in the produce system has moved offshore. Because that way you can exploit labor, you can have kids picking berries, what have you. Then I also have my dairy baron. Fairlife milk, you might have seen it, it's like a bougie milk in the store. Young men love it because the protein count's really high. Another baron in my book is JBS. JBS is my slaughtering baron. They are cartoonish villains. They bribed their way to monopoly level status. They admitted to bribing over 1,800 Brazilian politicians. You have this moment in American politics right now. We have a bipartisan moment to reform the meat markets. The meat market's actually gotten more concentrated the last few years because JBS, my meat baron, bought another company. Tyson's bought a company. Cargill came back into the chicken industry. And on top of it, Walmart is making an aggressive move into beef right now because Walmart was sick of the barons, shortchanging them. because you don't play with Walmart. And I end my book with Walmart, because to me, Walmart is the king of kings. Walmart sells 1 in 3 groceries. Their market share in grocery is the same as the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th combined. I really want to focus at the end of my book on where do we go from here. And to me, I think the biggest silver lining, as weird as it sounds, is the death of ethanol. Is the Biden administration has been really aggressive at transitioning the American auto fleet to EVs and hybrids. On the same hand, the single largest use of corn now in America is ethanol. Ethanol is not good for the climate. That conversation's over. It says everything that the Museum of Failure includes ethanol as an exhibit. Let's put animals back on the land. What a simple concept. What a great jobs program for rural America. Because there's this whole notion big is efficient, and it's just not true. And I'm also a big believer, I didn't write this book to just have a book be on a shelf and nothing happen. You have to do. Most people are out there, are good people. They're trying to make a better system. It's just truly just a few greedy people holding us back. We made choices to allow robber barons to happen, and we can make choices to unrobber baron.
But when Big Ag comes to town, what do?